welcome to a new video here with me. I'm Kine Lovise for those of you who do not know me, and welcome to my new place, because I have moved since I last made a video. First of all, I have so much better lighting here. I'm so happy. The place, everything is so much better. It's an own apartment, and yeah, I'm very happy. So you can leave a comment if you want me to do a tour. I have been planning to do one, but I never quite seem to keep it tidy long enough for me to actually do one, but I'm coming to it. But that's not today's video. Today I thought I would take you through my new books. First, I'm gonna go through the books I got for Christmas that I bought for myself because I was tired of moving, and I had moved so I could just bring the new books directly to this place instead of carrying it. Yeah, you get the point. I'm gonna take you through all the books I got from around the 20th of December and up until this date. So I have kind of put them on like the end of the shelves here, so that it's gonna be easier for me, and I've divided them. So first of all, I have to say I did get some like gift cards for Christmas and for my birthday, so I haven't spent my own money on most of these, and some I got for Christmas as well, because I gave mom and dad like a list of books. Like, you can pick and choose who the store has. Let's just begin. So first up, I'll start with, I actually won 3 books in this ReadAthon on Instagram. I'll tag the 3 people that hosted it on the screen here because I love them. But yeah, so it was the ReadAthon 2020, and I got these 3 books. It's the Magnus Chase and the Gods of Asgard, I think it's in English. I got these 3 in Norwegian, so yeah, I haven't read them yet, but I actually kind of look forward to it, even though I never really thought about these books as something I actually want to read, because it's by Rick Riordan, who is the same person that wrote the Percy Jackson books, amongst others. So I have bought the first book in that series, so it's coming a little later, but yeah. So it's Thor's Hammer, the Ships of the Dead, and the Summer Sword. I don't know if that's the correct translations, but... And I got this book from a friend of mine. It's #Psyc, which is a self-help book, I think. I haven't read it yet. So is it just me? Is it something wrong with me? These are thoughts that unfortunately too many of us recognize. Over half of us experience depression, anxiety, and or stress-related issues during our lives. So yeah, I'm quite excited to read this actually. So just have to find a moment, because my TBR is endless. And for those of you who are not bookish people, TBR is my to be read list. So yeah, the more you know. Then I got this series for Christmas. It was on my list for my parents. I feel so young when I say this, and I just turned 26. So, but anyways, I have heard some of these books are quite spicy, so they are definitely more of an adult fantasy. So it's the Aquature series, the 4 books that's out. So it's Aquature series, so the A Court of Thorns and Roses, A Court of Mist and Fury, A Court of Wings and Ruin, and A Court of Frost and Starlight. And it's new one coming out soon. So, Fair is a huntress. The skin of a wolf would bring enough gold to feed her sisters for a month. But the life of a magical creature comes at a steep price, and Fair just killed the wrong wolf. Taken prisoner by a high fae lord, Fair learns that her masked captor is hiding even more than his piercing gaze suggests. But as Fair's feelings for Tamlin begin to burn through every warning she's ever heard about his kind, a shadow is falling across the land, and if Fair cannot fight it, she will lose everything. I'm quite excited to read this because everyone raves about it, so yeah. I also got the Chain of Gold by Cassandra Clare. So I have read the Immortal Instruments, and I have read the Infernal Devices. I absolutely love The Clockwork Princess, which is the last book of that series. I haven't read the Dark Artifices yet, but I had to have it, right? So it's the Chain of Gold, The Last Hours series, which is a new one. She's just begun, I think. So, love cuts deeper than any blade. Cordelia Carstairs is a shadow hunter, a warrior trained since childhood to battle demons. When she travels to London, she encounters childhood friends James and Lucy Harrendale, and is drawn into the world of glittering ballrooms and supernatural salons. All the while, she must hide a secret love for James, who is sworn to marry someone else. But Cordelia's new life is blown apart when demon attacks devastate London. Trapped in the city, Cordelia and her friends discover that a dark legacy has gifted them with incredible powers, and a brutal choice will reveal the true, cruel price of being a hero. So I love that this takes place before the Immortal Instruments, because I do kind of like historical fantasy, is that the right word? More than today urban fantasy. I'm not quite familiar with the terms here, but I like it. It either has to be like in historical sense or high fantasy, that is like it's not in this world at all. It's built in its own world. So yeah, I think I'm gonna like this, but I quite don't like starting a series that hasn't finished because I can't wait for the next book. Another book I got for Christmas, To Kill a Mockingbird by Harper Lee. This is a classic book, which I have heard is a must read if you read classics. So shoot all the blue jays you want if you can hit them, but remember it's a sin to kill a mockingbird. A Pulitzer Prize winner, and over 30 million copies are sold. So yeah. Over to the Shadow Me series. I have started this series. So I had gotten the 2 first books before. So this is Ignite Me and Defy Me. I read the first book and I was like, what is this? I was blank. I didn't know if I liked it, even though I couldn't put it down. But the second book is better. I heard the third one is where it really just takes its place, so I'm really excited for that one. So I'm hoping, because I have bought the rest of the books as well. Then I have The Raven Boys by Maggie Stiefwater. Again, TikTok and Instagram made me do it, which is the case for most of these books. Even if Blue hadn't been told her true love would die if she kissed him, she would stay away from boys, especially the ones from the local private school, known as Raven Boys. They only mean trouble. But this is the year that everything will change for Blue. This is the year that she will be drawn into the strange and sinister world of the Raven Boys, and the year Blue will discover that magic does exist. This is the year she will fall in love. I do like that. So yeah, but as I've said, my TBR is endless, and I don't know when I will get the chance to get to any of this, but I'm excited for all of them, which is a problem because on this top shelf I have 16 new books before the 31st of December, and here there are 21 just after the 1st of January. Oh well. Yeah, let's continue. Next up, there's the Shadow and Bone trilogy by Lee Berdugo. So these are the two first books. I have the third one here, which I have gotten after in January. So it is in the Grishaverse. Soldier, Summoner, Saint. Alina Starkov is a soldier. When her regiment is attacked while crossing the Shadowfold, a swath of unnatural darkness crawling with monsters, Alina unleashes dormant magic not even she knew she possessed. Now Alina will enter a lavish world of royalty and intrigue as she trains with the Grisha, the country's magical military elite, and falls under a spell of their notorious leader, the Darkling. He believes Alina can summon a force capable of destroying the Shadowfold and reuniting their war-ravaged country, but only if she can master her untamed gift. But as Alina unlocks the secrets of her past, she will make a dangerous discovery that will threaten all she loves and the very future of a nation. So yeah, I like how sparkly they are. Like, oh, but it's dark, and I light candles. They look very pretty. So I also have the Six of Crows duology by the same author, and I haven't read any of them yet, but I will, most likely this year. Those were all the books I got in the last couple of weeks of 2020. As I've said, most of them are gifts or prizes. So next we have the books I got in January. So there is 6 books that won't be mentioned here, or I won't show you, because I will go and get them just as I'm finished filming this, because I have bought the 6 books by George R.R. Martin, which is the 5 books of the of A Game of Thrones. But I will drive and get them like when I'm finished filming, so I won't show them, but I also get them. But I bought like 6 books for 150 Norwegian kroner, which is pretty great. So yeah, well, I started this year. I'll take these like almost in like the correct chronological way of me buying them. So I started with buying the Witcher Sword of Destiny, which is one of the prequels of the Witcher series. I have read the first book, The Blood of Elves. I have not read The Last Wish, but I managed because I did see the first series, or the first season of the Netflix series. I'm a blabberer, especially now that I don't see people almost at all, which means I'll talk a little more than usual, if that's possible, to the camera, which I'm not sorry, because you can just skip ahead if you want to. So then I have the 4 next books of the Shadow Me series. Well, 2 of them is these, what's it called? Extra books, kind of. As I said, I have bought them all, so I really hope that I like the series more and more for each of them. I also I have always just had the Twilight series in Norwegian, which I don't really like them in Norwegian. I got them when I was little, or younger at least. I got the first books from my uncle for Christmas, and back then I did absolutely not read in English. So I first read them all in Norwegian, and then I borrowed them from the library and read them in English, and that's where my kind of real reading story started, kind of. Well, my English reading. I did really love to read, but anyways. So I have started getting all of these books in English as well. So this time I got New Moon. It's by Stephanie Meyer, but I believe most of you know this by now. So yeah. Then I have a few classics again. It's The Lord of the Flies by William Golding, which was originally published in 1954. And it's one of the most disturbing and celebrated novels of modern times. So a plane crashes on a desert island. The only survivors are a group of schoolboys. At first they revel in the freedom and celebrate the absence of grown-ups. But soon though, as the boys' fragile sense of order begins to collapse, their fears start to take on a sinister, primitive significance. Suddenly the world of cricket, homework and adventure stories seem a long way away. The boys are faced with a more pressing reality, survival, and the appearance of a terrifying beast who haunts their dreams. So, no living writer has represented the fragility of man's enterprises so marvelously as Golding says. Buy it. Yeah. And then I got The Catcher in the Rye by J.D. Salinger. Well, it doesn't really say anything, so... But both of these were on a list of classical books you just have to read if you want to, of course. Next I have a book that is quite different. Well, I must say, because I kind of forget sometimes to just say the genre for the books that I show you. So all of the books in the Shatter Me series is fantasy, or I think it's dystopian. The Witcher is definitely high fantasy, and all the rest that I haven't said a genre for is fantasy. Most of them high fantasy as well, I think, but I haven't read them, so yeah. But next is Where the Crawdads Sing. Should I come closer? It's Where the Crawdads Sing by Delia Owens. I have heard and seen so many people rave about this. This is a fiction book, which is quite weird for me, because I don't really read a lot of just modern fiction. I think it's fiction. Let's read. For years, rumors of the Marsh Girl have haunted Barkley Cove, a quiet town on the North Carolina coast. So in late 1969, when handsome Chase Andrews is found dead, the locals immediately suspect Kaya Clark, the so-called Marsh Girl. But Kaya is not what they say. Sensitive and intelligent, she has survived for years alone in the marsh she calls home, finding friends in the gulls and lessons in the sand. Then the time comes when she yearns to be loved. When two young men from town become intrigued by her wild beauty, Kaya opens herself to new life until the unthinkable happens. It's a painfully beautiful, at once a murder mystery, a coming-of-age narrative, and a celebration of nature. This is one of the few fictional books I really want to read. Have some others like Thug and Americana. Then we have some facts, non-fiction books. Facts? Yeah. They're about society, culture, things like this. So first, I have to come closer. On the Muslim Question by Anne Norton. why the Muslim question is really about the West and its own anxieties, not Islam. In this fearless original book, Anne Norton demolishes the notion that there is a clash of civilization between the West and Islam. What is really in question, she argues, is the West's commitment to its own ideals, to democracy and the Enlightenment trinity of liberty, equality, and fraternity. In the most fundamental sense, the Muslim question is about the values not of Islamic, but of Western civilization. So, yeah, I think this is a really important book. I haven't read it yet, but as I have lived with Islamic or Muslims, Islamic people, Muslims, yeah, and I want to read this just to have better arguments when talking to people that don't understand. So next is Me and White Supremacy by Layla F. Saad. So, an indispensable resource for white people who want to challenge white supremacy but don't know where to begin. When Layla F. Saad began an Instagram challenge called #Me and White Supremacy, she never expected it would spread so quickly. Using a step, I don't know where it stopped, but I can read the last part here again. So at this time in history, more than ever before, people are asking what they can do to help dismantle white supremacy and where to begin. And her answer is begin within. Begin with you and white supremacy. Because even though I didn't make white supremacy a thing, I definitely have possibilities that others don't have because of it. So I think it's good to just be aware and know where to begin. Just read about it. Then next is White Fragility by Robin DiAngelo. So with clarity and compassion, DiAngelo allows us to understand racism as a practice, not restricted to bad people. In doing so she moves our national discussions forward. This is a necessary book for all people invested in social change. Again, you see the theme for these books. So, why it's so hard for white people to talk about racism. So a lot of people, I've just read another book on this topic, which I'll come to in another video. But I think it's so easy to just stay in your comfort zone and be more offended when people call you a racist instead of examining why they called you a racist. What did you do? Though racism isn't always ill intent. It's just things you do that you don't think about, which is harmful and continues to bring this stigma. And yeah, and a lot of people just put their own comfortableness over other people's lives because, well, it's not my fault, so why should I do anything? Which for me is really sad, because if you could help, why wouldn't you? Well, anyways, but the next or the last of these are Women, Race and Class by Angela Y. Davis. So black women were equal to their men in the oppression they suffered. They were their men's social equals within the slave community, and they resisted slavery with a passion equal to their men's. Ranging from the age of slavery to contemporary injustices, this seminal history of race, gender and class inequality offers an alternative view of female struggles for liberation. Tracing the intertwined histories of the abolitionists and women's suffrage movements, Davis examines the racism and class prejudice and in doing so brings to light new pioneering heroines, from field slaves to mill workers, who fought back and refused to accept the lives into which they were born. So the power of her historical insights and the sweetness of her dreams cannot be denied. So yeah, this is more of a history book, but you have to understand history to see how it has made the future, kind of. Yeah, well. Next I have another fiction. I think it's, yeah, now a major film. So it's The Light Between Oceans by Emil Stedman. A boat washes up on shore of a remote lighthouse keeper's island. It holds a dead man and a crying baby. The only two islanders, Tom and his wife Izzy, are about to make a devastating decision. They break the rules and follow their hearts. What happens next will break yours. So, yeah, it's a fiction. It sounds heartbreaking, so most likely will like it. Yes. I also now got the Ballad of Songwords and Snakes by Suzanne Collins, which is the prequel for the Hunger Games series. It is massive. It's also a hardcover, which is kind of new to me because they're often so much more expensive that I don't want to spend my money on quality over quantity, because it's the quality of the insides that counts, but when they're cheap, I want them. But yeah, look under the cover, like it's beautiful. I keep the cover on though, because we want to protect the prettiness. So we protect the prettiness instead of looking at the prettiness. I always take the cover off though when I'm reading, because I don't want to break the cover either. So it's a world, yeah. This is kind of a book about President Snow and how he got to where he was. So ambition will fuel him, competition will drive him, but power has its price. Then, oh, it's still 5 books left. Like, this is... My throat actually hurts right now, so... I finally got this, Ragon by Paolini, Christopher Paolini. I know this is also a movie, but I've heard this is quite different. The #1 best-selling series, so there are 3 more books in this series. One boy, one dragon, a world of adventure. When Ragon finds a polished blue stone in the forest, he thinks it is the lucky discovery of a poor farm boy. Perhaps it will buy his family meat for the winter. But when the stone brings a dragon hatchling, Ragon soon realizes he has stumbled upon a legacy nearly as old as the Empire itself. Overnight, his simple life is shattered, and he is thrust into a perilous new world of destiny, magic, and power. Can Ragon take up the mantle of the legendary dragon riders? The fate of the Empire may rest on his hands. I can't wait for this book. It's been loved for so many years, and I haven't read them yet, so yeah, have to. It's high fantasy, but I guess you kind of figured that. So then we have, I have to like hurry a little bit because my camera is blinking, but yeah. So next we have Psyc by Neil Shusterman, a true successor to the Hunger Games. So, thou shalt kill. What if death was the only thing left to control? In a perfect world, the only way to die is to be gleaned by a professional Psyc. When Citra and Rowan are chosen to be apprentice guides, they know they have no option but to learn the art of killing. However, the terrifying responsibility of choosing their victims is just a start. Corruption is the order of the day, and Citra and Rowan need to stick together to fight it. Then they are told that one of them will have to glean the other. Dystopian. That's the word I was looking for. So this also, I think, is a trilogy. I know there's more books at least, so it's a series, but yeah. Have heard many good things. And then we have this series, which I also should most likely have read a long time ago, but it's the Mistborn series by Brandon Sanderson. This is the first book, The Final Empire. This is, I'm pretty sure, high fantasy. So, yeah. The mists rule the night. The Lord Ruler owns the world. For 1,000 years the ash fell. For 1,000 years the Ska slaved in misery and lived in fear. For 1,000 years the Lord Ruler resigned with absolute power and ultimate terror, divinely invincible. Every attempted revolt has failed miserably. Yet somehow hope survives. A new kind of uprising is being planned, one that depends on the cunning of a brilliant criminal mastermind and the courage of an unlikely heroine, a Ska street urchin, who must learn to master allomancy, the power of a mistborn. What if the prophesied hero had failed to defeat the Dark Lord? The answer will be found in the Mistborn Trilogy, a saga of surprises that begins here. I'm really excited, but this is as well quite a long book. Over 600 pages, so yeah. Then, as I said, I have bought the first book of the Percy Jackson series, and the Lightning Thief by Rick Riordan, which is fantasy. I think most of you know about this. I have seen the film, I think, but that's a long time ago, and I don't think the true stance of the books really like the movie. So yeah. And lastly, The Power of Habit by Charles Duhigg. I have read another book of him, The Smarter, Faster, Better, and I absolutely love that book. So I'm quite excited for this one. I even gave it to a couple of friends for Christmas. So in The Power of Habit, award-winning New York Times business reporter Charles Duhigg takes us into the thrilling and surprising world of the scientific study of habits. He examines why some people and companies struggle to change despite years of trying, while others seem to remake themselves overnight. He visits laboratories where neuroscientists explore how habits work and where exactly they reside in our brains. And he uncovers how the right habits were crucial to the success of Olympic swimmer Michael Phelps, Starbucks CEO Howard Schultz, and civil rights hero Martin Luther King Jr. The result is a compelling argument and an empowering discovery, the key to exercising regularly, losing weight, raising exceptional children, becoming more productive, or even building revolutionary companies is understanding how habits work. By harnessing this new science, we can transform our business, our communities, and our lives. And I think this is so fascinating. Habits play such a crucial role in all that we do. So I'm looking forward to this, as all of the other books. These were, as I said, all the books that I have bought or gotten in the last little over a month, and which is making my TBR just even bigger. They were on my TBR even though I didn't have them. So, but if we're just counting the books I actually have, which is like these 3.5 shelves, my TBR is more than big enough for a couple of years, I think. Hopefully you like this video. If there are any of the books that you have read or you want to read, please just talk to me about it, because I really love talking about books. Hello, I also have started a new blog with my own domain, which is just kinelovise.com. There's not many posts there yet. I will be posting these videos on that page as well, so maybe you are here already, but thank you all for watching. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up, and please subscribe to the channel because it does really help. All the links to my other social platforms will be linked in the description box below. Most of the books were bought on either Ark, Outland, here in Norway, Platekompaniet, and Nordli. I hope you have a great winter. Bye. Så.